Islam is a monotheistic religion, which means that Muslims believe in one God. Islam's believing in Allah, and He is the creator and sustainer of the universe, and He is all-loving, all-powerful, all-knowing, all-merciful, and present everywhere. Sacred writings. The Quran is one of the most sacred books to the Muslims. Muhammad received the Quran from God in Arabic over a 22-year period. Muslims believe that the Quran is the literal word of God in humanity. They believe it is so sacred that they cannot put anything over it. Okay, practices. The 5 pillars serve as the religious duties for each Muslim, and they are to be performed and lived through in the Islamic way. These 5 acts purify believers, and they are Shahada, which is witnessing, Salah, which is prayer, Zakah, which is almsgiving, Sawm, which is fasting during the month of Ramadan, and Hajj, which is pilgrimage to the city of Mecca. Let's talk about sacred places. There are 2 sacred places for Muslims, and they are mosques and the city of Mecca. A mosque is a public building of worship, and Mecca is one of the holiest cities of Islam and is a symbol of Muslims for their faith in God. Sacred times. Eid al-Fitr, which is festival of the breaking of the fast, marks the end of Ramadan. And then Eid al-Adha, festival of sacrifice, is the second major festival in Islam.
A current political event is in England. A situation unfolded where a dad was ordered by a court to refrain from teaching his children the religion of Islam. After the children's mother passed away, it was revealed that the parents were involved in a toxic relationship. With that, the father lost custody of his children and they were sent to foster care. Since then, the father has only seen his children twice. After time passed, he was offered a deal. The court said that he could only see his children if he did not talk about Islam. Ever since then, the decision has been fought against in other courts. Historically, Islam has always been oppressed. Cultural event is in Mexico's Mayan heartland. There's a vibrant Muslim community living there. This is surprising because of Mexico's predominantly Roman Catholic country. Many are converted to Islam from Catholic or other Christian denominations. The Muslim men are distinguished by their prayer caps or kuifs, and the women wear their hijabs, which take the form of traditional Maya shawls. The current entertainment event is Eid al-Adha, is an historical holiday in which Muslims around the world celebrate Abraham and the sacrifice of his son. Eid al-Adha begins when the first crescent moon is sighted, but celebrations occur shortly after Hijjah. In celebration of Eid, Muslims gather around the world and spend time with family and friends. There's a popular festival known each year as the Great Eid. This starts on the 10th day of the holiest month in reference to the Islamic lunar calendar. This past September 1st was the first day of Eid 2017. This was determined based on the crescent moon sighted on August 22nd.
So a historical significant figure in Islam is Muhammad. In 610, an angel appeared to Muhammad with the message that Muhammad was to be the messenger of Allah, the one God. Gradually, Muhammad gained followers and led the Muslims until his death in 632. Muhammad was a capable spiritual and political leader, and eventually Muhammad and his Muslim followers returned to and captured Mecca. Muhammad immediately purified the Kaaba by having all the statues removed and rededicated the Kaaba to the worship of the one God. While Muhammad is not considered the founder of Islam by Muslims, he is the seal of the prophets, which means he is the last of the prophets who received messages from God to pass on to humanity. By the time of his death, many Arab tribes were calling themselves Muslims and submitting to the will of Allah because of Muhammad's leadership. A significant contemporary figure is Malala Yousafzai. She wrote an anonymous blog for BBC in 2009 illustrating the situation for education and life in Pakistan under the Taliban. She was a young girl living amid the Taliban trying to fight for basic human rights and privileges such as education for children. On October 9, 2012, she was shot in the head through the neck and shoulder and was left comatose in the hospital. She finally woke up and responded on January 3, 2013, prompting her to write I Am Malala, a book that has inspired millions. Malala's acts of courage and peace perfectly portray what Islam is all about, sharing the love of Allah or God to all through gentle acts of kindness and nonviolence.
I'm going to be talking about how Islam relates to the Catholic Church, similarities and differences. Basically, there are similarities both in prayer and fasting. 2, they both have a form of prayer beads, like the Catholics have the Rosary. 3, they both have books dating back to the time their religion was created. 4, both are monotheistic, meaning they have belief in one God. They don't believe in any other gods. And 5, they both believe in a form of an antichrist. And then there are differences. 1, Muslims believe in Allah, which is their form of a god. And then Christians believe in Jesus, the Messiah. Catholics also believe in the Trinity, but Muslims do not. They only believe there is one form of God. Also, the Quran is made by Allah himself, whilst the Bible wasn't written by God. It was written by like prophets and people around him. For Muslims worship in mosques, while Christians worship in churches. And 5, Muslims cover their heads with, like, girls cover their heads differently than guys do, but they both cover their heads.